Do not plant garlic until you watch this video. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the easiest, simplest way to start growing your own garlic at home in just 3 easy steps. My new book, The 5-Minute Gardener, teaches you how to grow a garden at just 5 minutes at a time, and I want to show you how you can grow your own garlic in just about 5 minutes. The first step you do before you even come out to the garden, and that is ordering your garlic. It doesn't have to take a lot of time. Let me just give you a couple of guidelines. First off, you want to make sure you're getting organic garlic. You want to be sure the garlic hasn't been sprayed or treated in any way. There are a couple of sources you can use to get this organic garlic. You also want to pay attention to the type of garlic. There's really 2 main types, hardneck and softneck. In general, hardneck garlic is going to be better to grow if you're in a colder climate, and softneck garlic will grow better if you're in a warmer climate. So once you're sure that you're getting organic garlic and whether or not you're going to get hardneck or softneck, then you want to pick out where you're going to buy your garlic from. Now, one of the easiest places to buy garlic is just to go down to your local farmer's market. Try to find some farmers that are growing in your local area and ask them if they've got any fresh garlic. The best time to purchase this is going to be late summer into early fall, right around the time that they're pulling all that garlic from their own farms. Your next option is to order online. So to do this, you can just find a couple of suppliers online and start to search the different varieties that they have available. Every supplier has a couple of different varieties, both of the hardneck and the softneck. You can read through those descriptions and find a perfect match for the types of garlic you like to eat and the types that they offer and sell. Now you might be thinking, why can't I just plant that garlic that I get from the grocery store? Well, most of the produce that we get from the grocery store, even if it's marked organic, has often been sprayed or treated in a way so that it doesn't sprout. You see, all the produce that's sitting on the shelves at the grocery store is set up in a way so that it looks its best when it's time for us to buy it. And we're really not that attracted to buying garlic that's got a bunch of green sprouts coming out of the top. There might be some exceptions, but for the most part, the garlic that you see at the store is never going to sprout for you in your garden. It's best to just get your garlic from a farmer's market or from an online supplier. Step number 2 is to prep your beds. Don't worry, it's not that complicated. And the easiest way to grow garlic if you don't have raised beds or a garden set up is just to grow in these handy little root growing bags. We have these in the Gardenary shop. I'll link them right below this video. But this is a super easy way to grow a lot of garlic. All you need is a little bit of soil inside, and you can plant your garlic in a small space. Grow it on your patio, porch, your deck, anywhere you get about 6 or so hours of sunlight a day. I'm going to be growing most of my garlic in my raised beds. I love growing it as a crop in between my greens and my broccoli, all the things I love to grow in early spring and early summer. And garlic just kind of lines up right alongside them. I see my garlic honestly like little soldiers that protect the rest of my food from getting eaten by pests. So to set up the garden, all we're going to do is clean it up first, and I did that this past weekend. I had lots of plants that died. We just had our first frost, and that brings me to the main point you want to think about as you set up your garden, which is timing. You want to know when your first frost is happening in the fall season or right around that date, and you essentially want to plant your garlic either right before the frost, right around that first frost, or right after it. Now, what if you live in a place that doesn't have frost? I've been there too. When I lived in Houston, we would go years without having any frost all winter long. So I never knew, okay, when do I plant my garlic? Because frost really hasn't happened. So what you do in that case is you just put your garlic into the fridge for a few weeks, and you're kind of simulating frost for the garlic before you put it out into the garden. So you're going to give that garlic, after you order it, put it into the fridge for about 4, 5, maybe 6 weeks. And then you bring it out into the garden and plant it out. And it's going to give it the simulation that it's been through a winter and now it's ready to grow in early spring. All right, so I like to plant my garlic 5 minutes at a time. Don't forget, we're 5-minute gardeners here. So I may not get all my garlic planted in just one day, but if I have 5 minutes to spare, that's plenty of time to head out and plant at least one line. So I love to use this little stake and string tool that we have in the Gardenary shop. This allows me to have a really nice straight line because come spring, I really want my garlic to look nice, beautiful, tall, and to be in straight rows in between all my lettuces. So I'm going to pull this stake and string, give myself a really nice line to plant from. And then I'm going to use my dibber. Now you want to plant garlic about 4 to 6 inches down from the surface of the soil. That gives it plenty of room underground to grow a really nice bulb. Now I'm going to use this dibber to give myself a nice deep hole, about 4 or so inches below the ground. And then I actually use the dibber to make sure that my spacing is right on as well. So set the hole and make the spacing right. And then I just keep going down the line all the way. Now that the line is placed and the holes are dug, it is time to put in that garlic. So I'm going to be planting hardneck garlic, and when it arrives to your doorstep, it's going to look something like this. And it's really not that complicated to break it apart. You're just going to take your fingers and start to carefully pull each of the cloves apart from the center. Now with the hardneck garlic, you're going to have literally a little neck in the middle, this stem that will stay and not get planted. See this? That's what makes it a hard neck. If it's a soft neck, when you peel it away like this, there won't be anything in the center. It will just be a lot more tiny little cloves. Now with a soft neck, when you peel those off, and even with hard neck too, you want to focus on the largest cloves. Those are the ones that we want to prioritize with planting. So we're just going to divide that, keep a little bit of the skin on. You don't want to make it bare. That's going to increase the likelihood that there's going to be rot or mildew on the plant. So you want to keep it on. It'll break down over time, but this is exactly what you want your clove to look like before you put it in the ground. So let's talk about the parts of this clove. This is the base of it. This is what's going to create a couple little roots growing into the soil. They're going to reach down, grab the nutrients from the soil, and help the clove form into a full bulb. Then we've got the clove itself. This has got all of the energy, all of the plant's DNA that it needs to literally create an entire new bulb from this one clove. And this is the tip of the clove. This is where the green is going to grow. It's where you're going to get the first shoot, and all the new leaves of the plant will come out of this tip. So when you plant this, you want to be sure the tip stays up and then the base goes down to the bottom. So you just take it tip up and then literally place one in each and every hole. So you can see here that deeper hole that I dug was not too deep at all, because these cloves are thick. All right, so I'm sliding one down into each and every hole. That's it. And the spacing here is great. I've got them about 3 or 4 inches apart. And you'll find, you know, what I like to do to just double check my spacing is I'll take a mature garlic and place that bulb on top. Let me show you what I mean. So I'll take this mature bulb and place it on top, and this is a good way to just test my spacing. Like, is there enough space for these cloves, you know, to grow to full maturity and be really nice big bulbs? Yes, there's plenty of space here. I've done the spacing correctly. Now what's going to happen once you plant these cloves? Well, if it's really cold where you live, if the garden's going to go dormant for the next few months, if you're going to have hard freezing, if you're going to have a lot of frost, then this garlic is going to pretty much just sit right here and do nothing. It's just going to sit in its place in the soil as things freeze over for the next few months. If you live in a really cold place, then you might want to actually cover your garlic with a little bit of something warm. Some gardeners use mulch. I'm not a mulch person in the garden, but you could just put some leaves on top. You could put a little extra layer of compost, some extra natural material that's going to give a little bit of a blanket of a warmth to your garlic so it doesn't get too cold in the middle of the coldest part of the winter. Here in Nashville, I don't do anything to cover or give extra insulation to my garlic. I'll simply just cover it over with my garden soil, and it does just fine. And then I would pull that off as soon as I got into spring so that these bulbs can just do their thing and take off as quickly as possible. So they're just going to rest. They're just going to hibernate over the winter. And then as soon as the soil starts to warm up, these greens are going to wake up and they'll start to create their first shoot, their first leaf. That'll come up, grab some sunlight, and then that's going to begin the whole process of this one clove becoming an entire bulb of garlic. So let me show you this crazy experiment that happened with our grow bag product. I had a bulb of garlic from our root growing kit, and somehow I just left it in this grow bag. And I thought it'd be cool to show you what happens over just a few months. Oh my goodness, this thing has created, what in the world? this thing has created some serious roots. So just this one piece of garlic, I'll show you, oops. If you take that skin off, it's a perfect picture of what grows off of just one clove, right? So this one clove has created all this root growth, and then you can see the little stem growth that's happened as well. So it uses photosynthesis. It's going to use the energy from the sun in the early spring through summer, and that photosynthesis plus the nutrients from the soil that the roots are grabbing, those two sources of energy are going to help this clove turn into an entire bulb in less than 5 or 6 months. It really is a miracle that this little thing can turn into such an incredible, nutritious bulb that we get to eat from all year long. So that's it. Those are the 3 steps to growing your own garlic at home. It really isn't that complicated. You'll find lots of other teachers telling you all kinds of fertilizers you have to use and all these different steps you have to add to the process. But I've been growing garlic for almost 10 years, and I simply split apart the cloves, stick them in the ground, and then harvest loads of garlic at the end of every summer. Probably the most complicated thing when it comes to gardening, especially planting garlic, is the timing, knowing when to buy it and when to plant it. And that's why I have the Gardenary planner. This is an incredible resource I am loving so much. It shows you exactly what to do and then gives you a place to plan out your whole garden for the whole year in the palm of your hand. So I'll put a link in the description for you to get that Gardenary planner. And if you want a digital version, you can check out the Gardenary calendar. This is a little spreadsheet where you can put in a couple of dates, and then we tell you all the rest of the dates you need to know when it comes to setting up your garden. We'll put a link to that right below this video as well. As always, thank you so much for gardening with me. Thank you for being part of Gardenary. Thank you for being a 5-Minute Gardener. You can get this book right below the video too. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video with someone you want to plant garlic with this year, and I'll see you next time.